Hey guys, it's your pal Victor here, and we're going to talk a little bit about the series finale of Miss Marvel. We're going to talk about that ending, and we're going to talk about that post-credit sequence. So stay tuned right now. Hey guys, it's your pal Victor. So we're gonna talk about Miss Marvel. This is our little intro to this video. So here's what I'm gonna say straight up. I am not a super fan of this series throughout. I actually do like the fact that it was sort of had like Into the Spider-Verse and Spider-Man vibes. I even liked the historical aspect. I do think the writers went a little wacky with like the origin of her powers, the whole thing tying in the clandestine and making them genies essentially, all the hoops they kind of went through to get away from making her an inhuman at all and changing her powers. Actually, I like the way they changed her powers, but this is pretty much almost a character created from whole cloth. It doesn't have a ton to do with the source material. That being said, if you do interesting things with inspiration, the show works up. Overall, I always think these Marvel shows should just be 2.5 hour long movies. I feel like this one is a better show than Moon Knight, but overall, it's probably better as a binge than watching it week to week, because it was really hard to stay invested in the story because it seemed to have a really nebulous payoff with the whole thing with the veil. The human story with Kamala and the story of her family I thought was interesting, but again, I feel like a lot of that could have been like condensed, and kind of don't get me started on how realistic it would be that her mom made her outfit. It's like huge jump in quality from the costume from like the first episode, you know what I'm saying? The costume she made for her to go with her dad there, but I can let that go. But what I really want to talk about more than anything is one, the whole thing with Damage Control is such a boring antagonist. I did like I said, I like the cultural aspects of the story. I like how she was sort of like, the blue collar kind of Muslim Spider-Man, XB. So, and I feel like that's not a bad place for Marvel to go. I feel like they did it well. They did a good job with it with the girl in Moon Knight, whose name I can't remember right now, Moon Knight's ex-wife. Much better job in this and Moon Knight than they did in Eternals. So, but I mainly want to talk about that ending. And here's spoilers. It is the 3-minute mark, and we are going to talk spoilers. So here we go. We're going to talk about the scene with Bruno and Kamala at the end, where they made a very big deal about the fact that, the Nor, the Bangle, the Negaband, whatever you want to call it, couldn't be wielded by anybody else in her family. And he went over her genetic makeup, and he noticed a mutation, at which point the score does the da-da-da-da-da-da from X-Men. And Kamala just goes, whatever that means, I'm sure it's just another label. So here's the big thing here. They're making Kamala a mutant. This is a big quantum leap away from the comics, because in the comic books, Kamala is an Inhuman. This was a big deal, pretty much largely done when Marvel, under the reign of Ike Perlmutter, was telling writers to disassociate themselves from creating things under the mutant or Fantastic Four banner, because anything created for, X-Men or the Fantastic Four was instantly owned by Fox, because at the time they owned the rights to all the X-Men and Fantastic Four characters. So at the time they were doing a big push for Inhumans, and Miss Marvel was kind of like the big new Inhuman character. You know, Terrigen Mists are what turned her into a mutant. If you play the Avengers game by Square Enix, the whole thing is about Miss Marvel being an Inhuman and, you know, experimentation by AIM. So now that game is actually completely tossed out of any possible kind of canon, even though they keep trying to add MCU characters to it all the time. Now it's all tied into a thing that the MCU is just saying, no, that doesn't exist at all. Inhumans, bah. Because, yeah, by making Miss Marvel a mutant, you've pretty much, this is Marvel saying we don't give an F about Inhumans. I know Black Bolt was in Multiverse of Madness, but now that's been explained that was a multiverse. So in the multiverse, there's a universe where there are Inhumans. In the mainline Marvel movie MCU universe, there are no Inhumans. It's mutants now. Which is funny because that'll definitely play into you know, the next Quantum Mania, I believe, or the next movie that has Tenoch Huerta as Namor, who is actually Marvel's first mutant, which pretty much guarantees, given, you know, this long-lived clandestine, you know, he's probably a mutant too in the MCU, which I'm fine with Namor. But here's the big thing that went on in this episode, and we're going to talk about this too, is the post-credit scene. So the post-credit scene in this episode has Kamala kind of chilling. She lays on her bed, and the Namor, the Bangle, the Negaband, starts glowing. She stands up, backs off, and it kind of warps. She flies back into the wall, or she blows through her closet. When she gets up, it's not her, it's Captain Marvel, Carol Danvers, who picks up a drawing of herself from the debris, and she goes, "Oh, no, 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 no." And it says, "Miss Marvel will return in the Marvels." So here's the big question here is that Captain Marvel? Because if you read the Miss Marvel comics, actually the very first story arc, the big deal is that Miss Marvel, Kamala's powers, turn her into a copy of Carol Danvers for most of the first issue because she can't control her powers. So the real question is, did the Nor and, you know, her excitement about superheroing turn her into a copy of Miss Marvel? Because you notice she looks a lot different than last time we saw her. She has kind of a more hip haircut and sort of a, you know, different stylized look. Is this what she's going to look like in the Marvels? Or is this what Kamala as Captain Marvel looks like? You know, we'll find out when that movie comes out. Right now, I'm kind of leaning toward Kamala turned herself into a copy of Miss Marvel accidentally. The other thing that's interesting about this scene is the fact that the Bangle starts glowing. If that's not Kamala as Captain Marvel, but it just kind of zipped their places there, that kind of tells you that the Nor is also a Negaband connected to the Kree somehow. Or like the 10 rings, there's alien technology in there that kind of, you know, brought Captain Marvel there. Because when we saw in Shang-Chi, the 10 rings have some sort of homing thing built into them that's kind of luring something to Earth. And I know Kevin Feige had been saying, oh, there's lots of hints as to who the big bad of Phase 4 is going to be. I'm shocked people haven't found it. We're having these things on Earth, the Nor, the 10 rings, which we now know can possibly warp an alien to Earth by their signal. Could these symbols, could these items be connected to past heralds of a character like Galactus? Because realistically, Galactus could be a character that's being lured to a planet to try to consume it. That's very possible. I mean, I'll admit that's like where my mind first goes. If the last film of Phase 4 is going to be a Fantastic Four movie, then I would think they're going to start building up to whatever villain will be faced in that movie. So we'll see. But yeah, those are my thoughts on the finale of Miss Marvel. We'll do a more in-depth thing later, but yeah, like I said, it's more of a Spider-Man kids adventure thing. It does say that Marvel has more immediate plans for mutants than we believed, because this is the first actual mention of the word mutation, and we all know the little X-Men mutant thing chime, do 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 do. We saw it here, so there you go. That's pretty much all the confirmation we need. So yeah, stay tuned for more talks. Hopefully the next Marvel jam will be something that's a little bit more my jam, but we will talk about it. Look for more videos this week, and thanks you guys. Talk to you later. Bye.